We named this company EQRAZ. EQRAZ is used in various forms. It comes from the foundational word of qarz in Arabic, and it's used in the Quran several times, mostly in the context of qarz hasana, which means a goodly or virtuous loan. To me, this name embodies what the company is all about. I identify myself first and foremost as a Muslim, then as a Canadian. Originally, I'm from Pakistan, so my cultural values are mostly Pakistani Muslim cultural values. In 2017, my wife and I decided that we want to follow our daughter who went to university in Toronto. And we decided that we want to move to Canada as a family. I spent about a year figuring out what I want to do. And in doing that, I met with some people who brought to me this issue of halal mortgages, that there is no mortgages in Canada at scale for Canadian Muslims. And I decided, okay, that looks interesting. That's a challenge that maybe I can take up. The interesting thing is that when I did start it, I thought it's going to be a 6-month project to launch. Little did I know that it's going to take over 4 years of full-time, unpaid work and a lot of sacrifices to actually get this done. We finally launched in December 21st and issued our first mortgage on December 30th, 2022. I split this journey into 3 parts. So the first 1/3 was me being able to develop the correct product structure to meet with all these requirements. The second 1.5 years was about showing that to the establishment or to the professionals who needed to see it in order to work with me.
Very interesting one, because it seems like it should be simple, but it's very difficult, and that became clear very early on. So one of the things that I noted early on as a thought partner, later investor, board member to EQRAZ with Zuhair was I questioned whether it was even possible. It's because when I understood how many of the previous attempts had been, I would say, fatally flawed, I thought, well, maybe you're endeavoring to do something which is impossible. So I was very reassured when Zuhair took the approach that it's probably a solvable problem.
So it took me the second third actually, to develop the relationships on Bay Street in Toronto, develop the relationships in the Canadian mortgage industry. And that was by far the hardest part.
We have looked at these risks at a level that probably other organizations, even conventional mortgage companies, would not have had to.
The biggest challenge in that 1/3, the second third of this 3-phase project, was to find in myself the faith and the determination to move on. There were so many times that I would have given up.
This journey took on to be a mission, and Zuhair equated this mission to be God's mission, and he just kept going. It took a lot of time during the day. His days became 18 hours long. It took a lot of time away from the family, and that was very hard for us. And I feel that this is a basic necessity. It's not a luxury to own a home. And giving them an option of a home is God's job. God has chosen our family to do this, I feel. It's hard, it's difficult, but it's something that I feel has become much bigger than Zuhair, much bigger than us as a family. It's become bigger than life.
The second thing was, being a Canadian is a privilege. I want to be a Canadian immigrant who does something to make this country better. And the third motivation for me, apart from my family and doing good for Canada and the Canadian Muslim population, was basically my relationship with God. And why is that? Because at the end of every day, the thing that kept me going was, before I go to sleep, I talk to God about all the things that happened today. I have spoken to more than 500 people in the last few months, people who call me. And I've had conversations with people who have cried to me over the phone. The biggest pain point to me has been the sheer volume of hurt and deprivation that a lot of the Canadian Muslims feel, who are not able to buy a house because of their values as Muslims. And to me, that sacrifice, it inspires a lot of emotion in me. It inspires a lot of respect in me for those people who have stood by their values and not compromised on them. But what I absolutely love about what the last 4.5 years have done to me is that they have changed me from a professional and an entrepreneur to a man on a mission.
It was quite remarkable to kind of sit back and realize that we have someone coming from the other side of the world into Canada, a country which I was born and raised in, to help the Muslim community, who I have tried for the last 27 years to attempt to do something in a Sharia compliant way with a Schedule A institution, and found it to be so difficult. And so someone would come and basically make it easy for our Muslim community. It was quite remarkable. It was actually amazing. And like I said, it all comes from family support, because you can't do it alone. So Zahir's wife, his children, etc., who basically uplifted their roots to come here to help us. So that was very touching for me.
I think I am one of the most lucky and fortunate human beings in the world, that God has given me this opportunity to do something good with the faculties that He has provided me. In Islam, there is a concept in Arabic, it's called sadqa mal or jah. Sadqa means charity, mal means wealth, jah means status. So in Islam, there's a concept that charity is of wealth and status. Charity is not just about money. Charity is that God gives us faculties. My eyes, my mouth, my ears, my hands, my fingers. These are all faculties that God has given me, and I must spend out of these faculties to do good.